This year marked the 35th anniversary for the Wauseon National Classic Motorcycle Meet. Thousands of enthusiasts take center stage as we explore the history of motorcycling through the eyes of the collectors and racers who keep history alive. With this presentation of the 2017 Wauseon National Classic Motorcycle Meet. You're looking at the Fulton County Fairgrounds in Wauseon, Ohio. This year marks the 35th anniversary of the Wauseon National Motorcycle Meet. We welcome you now inside our Wauseon studio. I'm your host, Dave Ross. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to explore motorcycle history like it's never been seen before at the Wauseon National event of 2017. Now, the theme of this year's event is My First Motorcycle. And if you love motorcycles as much as these guys do, as much as we all do, you never forget your first bike. Now, Chris Patterson brought along a fine example of his first motorcycle. Let's take a look.
This is a Yamaha JT1 Mini Enduro. They were produced in 1971. They were released in early 1970, and this one I received for Christmas, December 25th, 1970. It's brought a lot of joy to me, just restoring it, reliving all the old memories. And now to have it along with me as I make some new memories, it's special.
Thanks a lot, Chris. That's a fine example of my first motorcycle. Now, race promoter Scotty Brown at Wauseon got involved in the event by restoring his Suzuki 80 that him and his brother first got for Christmas. Let's take a look.
I had restored a 1965 Suzuki 80, which was my brother's and I first motorcycle. I actually got it for Christmas one year. My dad brought it home and we were addicted ever since. So we thought we'd bring it out and get it judged this year. It's at a full restoration and it needs quite a few things, but this is where the professionals tell you exactly what it does need. They're very knowledgeable. They have different members of the judges that specialize in different areas, so they know exactly every bolt and nut that's correct or not. But one of the things about the My First Motorcycle is what this whole vintage lifestyle really touches on. It reaches in pretty deep to the emotions of people, the same as the vintage racing, where one fan might be looking at the old board trackers and his grandpa had one, and it touches him in a certain way. The guy sitting next to him maybe just read about him and wants to see him. And that carries the whole way from all the classes, the hand shift, the brakeless, and it's the same out here. As I see the people walk through and look at the different classes of bikes, each one, I can almost see on their face how it touches them in a different way, that their grandpa had one or they see one in a magazine, they always wanted one. There's just a reason. And it kind of takes me back to my old Suzuki 80. I picked it up at the Davenport meet in 2006, and there were a couple of old timers standing by as I was buying it. I was standing there waiting for the seller to come back with the paperwork, and I heard the old bugger say to the other one, you know, why would anybody want that thing? And the other guy said, well, you know, and he's talking, and I walked over and said, the reason I like it's because it was my brother and I's first bike. He nudged his bike, said, I knew there'd be a reason. So it touches everybody in a different way, and I think that's what brings me home. I get to walk through with my brothers usually and friends that come to this meet and look at all the different bikes, and we talk about where we saw that one, and it's sort of a bond and takes you back to a happy day.
Thanks, Scott. Our next participant, Leonard Aduddle, has a great story to tell. Check it out.
Little bikes were hard to come by then, and I was more interested in the fact that it ran and it was only $150 and that was in my price range. I think what had happened, I bought this from a dealer that sold Rupp mini bikes, and I think somebody traded this in on a Rupp mini bike and the guy just had it laying in the back of his shop and wanted to get rid of it. The unusual feature as compared to everybody else's motorcycle, rather than having a foot shift, it only has a 3-speed transmission, and you shift the gears by squeezing the clutch and turning that grip like a bicycle. And then also being that it was a European bike and it was early, you'll notice the rear brake is on the right hand or left hand side instead of being on the right hand side as most modern bikes are. This picture was taken in 1970 and that's kind of how it looked when I got it. The fact that I've kept the bike all these years, it made me feel that, you know, a lot of people had bikes that were like the ones they had when they were on, but this actually is the bike I had when I was 14 years old.
I think it's great that Leonard has the actual machine that he possessed as a 14-year-old. Truly remarkable. Now, when we return, we're going to talk to some of the participants at Wauseon who come back year after year and have great stories to tell. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the 2017 Wauseon National Meet. Now, there are a host of characters who attend this event. We had a chance to talk to a couple of them. Let's get things started.
My name's Andy McRoberts. I'm from Henrietta, Michigan, and I'm down here at Wauseon, Ohio for the swap meet and half mile. I've been coming here since I was a little kid, and I used to watch the races. They didn't race, they had exhibition rides of antique race bikes. I became a flat tracker eventually, and now that I'm able to do it, I ride here every time, no matter what. It's my favorite track in the country. I've been coming here with my dad since there was maybe only a dozen vendors here, and now it's bursting at the gate. I'm going to race a 250 Can-Am that our friend Doug brought down from Canada, and possibly my 500 Honda. My son will be riding a Can-Am and Doug's 750 Norton. I got 300 motorcycles at home. I'm a crazy collector of trail bikes and dirt bikes and race bikes.
This next Wauseon attendee is an Indian motorcycle specialist and has one of my favorite bikes of the show, a classic Danish Nimbus motorcycle, which has a frame that's way ahead of its time. You wouldn't believe this thing. Anyway, take a look.
This is all our 10th year here at Wauseon as a vendor. This is an original 1919 Indian Power Plus. These bikes went through World War I, but we rode a lot of them on the last Cannonball in 2016, and all the Power Pluses ran really well. And this was one we picked up. We thought we would rebuild it. We just got too many projects and too much work right now, so we thought we'd just bring it out and let somebody else take over. And over here we have a 1955. This is a 1955 Nimbus. These bikes are made in Denmark. They started production in 1932 and they made them all the way up to 1959. The Nimbus was virtually unchanged throughout its entire life, and that was due to the part of the military of Denmark. They told Nimbus that we will buy your bike and use it for military purposes, but we don't want you to change it. That way, you know, our guys can be riding a 1941 and the 1952. They're exactly the same. That way, one soldier wouldn't have a better bike than the other one. And they actually delivered the mail up until 1992 on Nimbuses. They're really popular over there. They're kind of hard to find here in the States. But they're really a neat bike. They're 4-cylinder. They got the strap frame. They got the exposed lifters and valves on them, and really a great bike.
Here is a young participant who is a custom retro builder. He uses a combination of old parts and new parts to create some magnificent machines. Take a look.
This is a 1929 Harley Twin Cam I just ended up finishing, and kind of got it to a point where it looks like it's been together for 90 years, but runs like it's brand new. And I can't tell you how I did it. That's a trade secret. When I started racing, I was the youngest person, but I think over the past 4 or 5 years, we've got a ton of new interest from the younger crowd, and it's neat nowadays. There's such a network of reproduction parts that you don't necessarily have to stumble upon a once-in-a-lifetime find to be able to build a bike like this.
People from all over the world come to Wauseon. Listen to what Aussie Michael Kiernan has to say.
What I love about Wauseon is the people, catching up with them every year and gleaning technical information and stories and history from these people.
Well, there we go. We finally got things started. Now, when we come back, there'll be more of the 2017 Wauseon National Meet after this. Welcome back, folks, to the 2017 Wauseon National. You're taking a look now at a modern-day motordrome. This is called the Wall of Death. What can you expect from the Wall of Death? Let's find out.
It's the most fun you're going to have here today. Guaranteed.
Now, what the Wall of Death is a modern-day motordrome. It's a wooden track that is cylindrical in shape, and these wooden boards are constructed at a 90-degree angle, which completes the whole motordrome effect of riding inside of a barrel, if you will. It's on a wooden track, and they go around and around in this track that is a 90-degree cylindrical shaped wall. Now, eventually, one of the performers, Charlie Ransom, rides this Indian motorcycle with no hands, side saddle. Look at this guy. Is that incredible? Now he'll ride around, and then eventually what people do, they'll take donations and hold them out over the safety cable there. There you go. Now they hold the money out there, and he rides by and snatches the money from your hand. Oh, that's incredible. Now watch this. You come around again and grab this one. Oh, that's great. Now they do this in order to help fund the program and keep things going. The whole family participates in this as they ride two here now. They have a go-kart and a motorcycle riding around that actually side by side as they ride through the Wall of Death, much to the delight of the fans who had a chance to watch the Wall of Death at the 2017 Wauseon National. The Wall of Death is a modern-day depiction of what board track racing used to be. These guys keep it alive by riding the actual board track machines on dirt.
This is a 1925. It's a very rare race motor. It's a Knuth motor, and it's got the overhead valves on it. It's a two-cam motor with the overhead valves. Very, very rare motor. These are board trackers, and these bikes were built just for racing. It's gotten to be more competitive. You got to realize that a lot of these bikes are, you know, anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 bikes, and you certainly don't want to go out there and smash them up. I see younger people getting into it, and so I hope that'll continue. The racers are really promoting it because it's filling the stands.
I feel really lucky that I'm able to do something that, you know, they did back in the day, and how many people are able to do that kind of thing. So I've always been into motorcycles. It's just the thrill.
Thanks, guys. Now, as they prepare their bike to get ready to go out onto the track, the grandstands are beginning to fill up, full of thousands of excited race fans who come here every year to see these classic bikes take on this half-mile course. Now, the great thing about this event is that we start in the early 1900s with the board track racing, going all the way through the 1900s, through different periods of time. It's not a class, it's not an age, it's not a size, but the actual period of time that these bikes used to race. Now, without further ado, let's check out board track racing here at the Wauseon National. You'll notice that the board track motorcycles utilize a rolling start to get going. These bikes are direct drive and have no clutch. Now, a speedway motorcycle is somewhat similar, but they do have a clutch, so they'll start from standing still. But the board trackers actually start from a rolling start. Rounding out today's field is Jim Kalick from Oberlin, Ohio. He's aboard a Harley-Davidson, number B52. Number 22, also aboard a Harley-Davidson, is Matt G. Waxler from Waynesville, North Carolina. Bob Timmons aboard number 25 Harley-Davidson. He's from Visalia, California. John Rhodes from Richmond, Virginia, will be riding bike number 26X. He's aboard an Excelsior Henderson. Michael T. Lang from Big Bend, Wisconsin is aboard a Harley-Davidson. He'll be riding number 21X. Wayne T. Albertson from Egg Harbor, New Jersey, will be riding number 0. He's aboard an Excelsior. Justin Walls from Grove City, Ohio. He's aboard a Harley-Davidson riding number 122. Chris A. Thompson from Lincoln, Nebraska will be riding number 58, also aboard a Harley-Davidson. Carl D'Estes from Loveland Park, Ohio, number 151, riding a Harley-Davidson. Corey Postanek from Milwaukee, Wisconsin is number 74. He's also aboard a Harley-Davidson. Okay, and that's going to bring us to our board track final. Notice again, these guys have a rolling start, and they're off and running. It looks like the B52 bike of Jim Kalick is jumping out to an early lead. believe that's Wayne Albertson in second as they head down the back straightaway now. Okay, coming into turn number 4, it's Jim Kalick with an early lead way out in front of the pack. He's definitely got this track dialed in as they come around turn number 2. Kalick with a big early lead. That's a lapped rider already. Obviously a problem with that machine. But Kalick way out front. The battle seems to be for second, third, and fourth place right here with Matt Wauseon in second. Good battle for third between Bob Timmons and Wayne Albertson. Timmons and Albertson go back a ways, although they're from different parts of the country. These two have been riding together for a long time. And Albertson are still going at it there. Albertson aboard the number 0 bike has the white leathers on. Still cannot quite get around him as they enter turn 3 and 4. Down the front straightaway goes Kalick with a big lead. Boy, he's really got this track dialed in. Here comes Wauseon in second. Look at these bikes, folks. Same kind of bikes they rode back on the board tracks back in the day at over 100 miles per hour. There's your race winner, number B52, Jim Kalick out of Oberlin, Ohio, receives the checkered flag. Matt Wauseon from Waynesville, North Carolina is going to end up second. And your battle for third and fourth is shaping up here with Timmons and Albertson. Timmons on the outside, Albertson on the inside. Can't quite make it happen. So Bob Timmons out of Visalia, California is going to take third place over the number 0 machine of Wayne Albertson. And he's out of Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. George Roeder and Jay Springsteen, two flat track greats, are going to go head to head in the showdown at sundown. Coming up next. Welcome back, race fans. This year's Showdown at Sundown features Jay Springsteen and George Roeder, two flat track greats. Springsteen began his professional racing career in 1975 by winning the American Motorcyclist Association's Rookie of the Year award. As a member of the Harley-Davidson factory race team, Springsteen won 3 consecutive AMA Grand National Championships in 1976, 77, and 78. He accumulated 43 Grand National Championship victories during a professional career that spanned almost 30 years. George Roeder grew up racing with his father, George Roeder Sr., who won 8 national championships. Young George began racing at the ripe old age of 3 years old and has won over 50 professional races in his career aboard a Harley-Davidson XR 750. George now owns and operates Roeder Racing and Service, where he does the machining and headwork. It's not unusual to walk into the shop and see George helping a customer or chatting it up with visitors passing through. Like father, like son. Tonight, these two racers go head-to-head in the 2017 Wauseon Showdown at Sundown. All right, folks, they're off and running. The fans love this Showdown at Sundown. As Roeder and Springsteen go side by side into turn 1, coming out of turn 2, it looks like Springsteen with a bit of an advantage. Springsteen now out in front of George Roeder, with George Roeder trailing right behind. Looks like Roeder's going to go to the inside. Can he make it stick here? Yes, he does. Roeder just gets past Springsteen as they make their way around this track. Here comes Roeder out front, Springsteen right behind. And he ducks to the inside. Springsteen now taking over the lead as Roeder goes high. It looks like Springsteen now in the lead. What a race, folks. Roeder passes it back coming out of turn number 4. Looks for Springsteen now going to the inside. These guys are back and forth, folks. This is what you came to see. The Showdown at Sundown here at the 2017 Wauseon National event. Roeder now coming down for the checkered flag is going to take the victory over Springsteen. George Roeder taking the Showdown at Sundown 2017 victory here at Wauseon, Ohio. Boy, these two riders go back a long way. Let's listen to their banter at the end of that magnificent race.
Then I tried to get the gas on, and then I fish flopped back and forth a little bit, and then I was like, I ain't gonna catch you now.
It happened to me on the first lap there, and I thought, man, I gotta be on top.
Yeah.
That's the place to be, you know?
Yeah. Dude, it's a ride.
Hey, man, thanks.
Love you, man.
Thanks.
All right, folks, and that's going to bring us into the 500 brakeless final. Here's your field. Chad Rawl out of Mansfield, Ohio. He's aboard a number 52 Harley-Davidson. Daryl Jakubowski from Hanover, Pennsylvania. He'll be riding a Triumph. Danny Verana will be aboard a Harley-Davidson. He's riding bike number 4 out of Outfield, Wisconsin. Gene Atherton out of Constantine, Michigan will be riding a Triumph. He's bike number 28. Skip Wirtz also aboard a Triumph out of Wheeler, Michigan will be riding bike number 95. Chris Clark aboard number 93 Harley-Davidson out of Kettering, Ohio. Paul Bailey out of Liberty Center, Ohio. He'll be aboard the 52G Triumph. Brittany Olson out of Aberdeen, South Dakota aboard a Harley-Davidson number 13D. And riding a BSA is Rich Coates out of Chardon, Ohio. He'll be riding bike number 70. Completing the field will be Gerald Chisholm from Springfield, Missouri, riding a Harley-Davidson aboard the bike number 6. All right, it looks like this field's, oh, look at that, number 28 jumping the gun. That's Gene Atherton out of Constantine, Michigan. They're gonna send him to the back of the field. That's quite unfortunate for the 28 bike, Gene Atherton. So the other bikes get ready to go, and here we go. We're off and running. Good start. Nice and clean as they enter turn 1. Coming around turn number 2, we're going to find out who's in first here. We got 3 bikes that are contending for the lead, but it looks like the number 52 of Chad Rawl is going to lead the field around turn number 3. And as they enter turn number 4 here, it's still Rawl out in front. Looks like the second place rider coming around turn number 4 is going to be the number 93B bike of Daryl Jakubowski of Hanover, Pennsylvania. He's taken over the second spot. As they head down the back straightaway, it's still Raw and Jakubowski and the number 4 bike of Danny Verana now in third. Good battle for the front, as it still looks like Chad Rawl is now pulling away from Jakubowski ever so slightly. Really getting around this track good. Look at Jakubowski come to the inside. He's taking a look in there. And he made up some ground as they went around into turn 1 and 2. Coming down the back straightaway, Jakubowski on the outside now. As Chad Rawl ducks down inside. It looks like Jakubowski's tasting the outside roost of Chad Rawl right there. Really getting a roost full of dirt right there. So he's going to kind of follow him down the front straightaway here as they enter turn number 1. Jakubowski, he's been looking at the inside, he's been looking at the outside, he's back down to the inside. He's really able to make up some ground as they come through turn number 2 for some reason, and the tear-off comes off. After eating that dust, he's coming to the inside of Chad Rawl. It looks like Jakubowski might be, Chad Rawl able to hold it on a little bit longer as they come around turn 3 and 4, and here they come. Jakubowski is just in the dirt right there, and Chad Rawl, but for some reason he's able to make up ground here the last couple laps, but it looks like Chad Rawl is still out front with Jakubowski on the outside now, making up some ground. Jakubowski is able to get it going in turn 3 and 4. Here he comes to the inside. Wow, folks, really hold it on. It seems like he's able to make up some time through the turns, but Chad Rawl just pulling away from him down the straightaways. Here comes Jakubowski to the inside again now as they head into turn number 2. Jakubowski to the inside, Chad Rawl the outside, taking over a lapped rider right there. Oh, and they're very close here, folks. Very close. Jakubowski to the inside. He likes that inside line as he come around turn 3 and 4. It looks like Jakubowski's going to take Chad Rawl as they enter turn 4, coming across the lapped rider. Oh, and they touch. They're coming in down the straightaway. Who's it going to be? It's Chad Rawl with the win. Wow, what a race between Daryl Jakubowski out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. He's riding the Triumph, and Chad Rawl taking the win aboard the number 52 Harley-Davidson. We'll have more coming up on the 2017 Wauseon National after this. Next up is your 70s singles class. These are single-cylinder machines from the 1970s. These will actually be foot shift with brakes. These bikes are slightly more modern, but the field is packed. These motorcycles are a little bit more obtainable. Therefore, the pack is huge. We have a field of 17 qualifying riders. We're going to run down through the top 10 aboard a Honda. Daryl Jakubowski out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. He'll be riding the 93 bike. 80X aboard a Honda is Bobby Lynn Jr. from Sheridan, Michigan. Number 3 on a Honda, Dwayne Warden out of Canal Fulton, Ohio. 32 on a Yamaha, Kyle Long out of Clayton, Indiana. Dan McRoberts will be riding from Marietta, Michigan aboard 36F Honda. 73F Honda, Thomas Engelhardt, he's out of Newark, Ohio. Brian Long out of Screven, Georgia aboard the 17D Yamaha. Tony Moore from Urbana, Ohio, he'll be riding the 12F Yamaha. Aboard the 59Y Yamaha is Rick Reed out of Reno, Nevada. And rounding out the top 10 will be number 611 aboard a Yamaha, that's Dennis Goyer out of Troy, New York. And the 3-deep field has taken off. Looks like a clean start from the beginning as they enter turn 1. A lot of bikes on the track right there, folks. They make their way into turn 2. Looks like we've got a clean start from the front of the field. Looks like Dan McRoberts is, oh, and we've got a rider down, another rider, oh, runs over top of him, folks. Oh, that's going to bring out the yellow flag. The red flag will surely come out as we have bikes and riders on the track. Right in turn, there it is. The red flag is out. They'll get these riders safely stopped. We'll try to figure out who actually is on that track out there. Looks like the number 7 machine of Joe Barnes out of Fairhaven, Michigan goes down, and the bike number 17 aboard a Honda, Jason Fetch out of Elizabeth, Pennsylvania, had nowhere to go. Oh, here we get a look in instant replay. And there we have, yes, that rider in the back of the field. That is Joe Barnes out of Fairhaven, Michigan, who goes down, and Jason Fetch with nowhere to go runs right over the top of that machine. We just hope these riders are okay. It looks like they're up and off the track. The other riders will get organized for a restart, and here we go. This will be our restart of the 70 singles without a couple riders. Here they go. They're off and running, a lot of bikes in this field. Oh, and we've got another rider down. That's one of our lead riders. I believe that was the number 80X of Bobby Lynn Jr. out of Sheridan, Michigan. Yes, 80X, unfortunately for him, aboard the Honda. Let's get another look at that as they come around turn number 1, and yeah, that's Bobby Lynn Jr. All right, looks like the riders are ready to go here. This is going to be the third restart, or the second restart, but the third start of the race of the 70 singles. And here they're off and running. It looks like Jakubowski got a little gun shy on the inside there. Some of the riders from the outside taking an early lead. It looks like it's going to be maybe the 37 of Nick Evans in the hunt, 36 of Dan McRoberts, and the 73 machine of Thomas Engelhardt. He came from way back to make a charge to the front early on here as they come around turn number 3 and 4, headed down the front straightaway. Looks like it's going to be the 37 machine of Nick Evans out front, the 73 machine of Thomas Engelhardt in second, and the 36F machine of Dan McRoberts out of Marietta, Michigan in third place. These guys are really charging down that back straightaway. Still your leader, 37, Nick Evans out of Galion, Ohio. Galion, Ohio, not too far away from Wauseon compared to some of these riders. We've got riders as far away as Nevada, California, all over the country coming out here to Wauseon to compete. Still the 37 machine out front. That's going to be Nick Evans. Thomas Engelhardt in second still, and 36, 73 and 36 making a charge. Thomas Engelhardt looking at the outside as they enter turn number 4 there with Nick Evans with a little bobble on the outside. It looks like Engelhardt going to the inside there, side by side as they enter turn 1, coming around turn 2. Oh, it's a good race, folks. Looks like that outside line is working for the 37 machine of Nick Evans still, as Engelhardt and McRoberts are taking a look to the inside. 73 machine, he keeps getting up there, but then the outside line that Nick Evans is running is working out for him. So it's still number 37, Nick Evans in front, with Thomas Engelhardt in second, Dan McRoberts in third, as they now come around turn number 2 again. Good battle, all the way first through 4th place, right together there, folks, here at the Wauseon 2017 National. Nick Evans still your rider out front. Now they're all choosing a different line. Evans goes wide. It's going to leave the door wide open for Engelhart and McRoberts to try to come in, but still unable to make it stick. Evans comfortable on the outside. Now the fourth place rider coming into play. He goes pretty high going into turn number 2. Coming up on some lapped traffic now as these guys make their way down the back straightaway. Still your leader, the number 37 machine of Nick Evans. He's riding a Honda. Now 3 abreast now as they come around turn number 3. Heading down the front straightaway. 3 abreast. It's going to be Nick Evans, the number 37 machine, not able to hold on because Dan McRoberts, the 36F machine, comes in and takes the win. Evans is going to have to settle for second after leading the whole race. So your number 36F aboard a Honda, Dan McRoberts from Marietta, Michigan, ends up squeezing out the win over Nick Evans, the number 37 machine out of Galion, Ohio, with Daryl Jakubowski out of Hanover, Pennsylvania, finishing out the top 3. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to the Wauseon National Championship Motorcycle Race here at Fulton County Fairgrounds in Wauseon, Ohio. Coming up are the hand shift bikes. These bikes are from the era when Harley-Davidson and Indian would go head-to-head and create the newest technology. Now these bikes have hand shift and a foot clutch in order to qualify for this class. Our top 10 qualifiers for the hand shift bikes are number 53H, Chad Rawl. He'll be aboard an Indian out of Mansfield, Ohio. Brandon Snyder out of Glenfield, Ohio will be aboard number 392, and he's riding a Harley-Davidson. Danny Verana from Waukegan, Wisconsin will be riding bike number 4 aboard a Harley-Davidson. Gerald Chisholm, number 6 from Springfield, Missouri. George Willis, number 20 from Manhattan, Illinois. From Bishop, California, Clayton Murin aboard the 17 machine. They'll all be aboard Harley-Davidsons. Number 4, Matt Weaver will be riding an Indian. He's from Coshocton, Ohio. Number 58, William Applegate, aboard a Harley-Davidson from Reddington, New Jersey. William Heyer, number 311, aboard a Harley from Lannon, Wisconsin. And Scott Johnson, number 15, will be aboard a Harley-Davidson. He's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's rounding out our top 10 qualifiers. Let's get it going. All right, the start of this race is going to be great, folks, as you watch these guys try to get these bikes in gear. You see one of the front riders there all the way to the back. They get off to a much slower start than some of the other bikes, but man, is there a lot of them out there. These are all hand shift bikes. These guys will get her cooking. It just takes a minute. There we go, your number 1 rider, Clayton Murin. He's our California rider. He's out front showing these guys how to get around the track at Wauseon. Chad Rawl in second place, number 53H. He's from Mansfield, Ohio. He's aboard an Indian. So it's Harley out front, Indian in second. Here they come, down the back straightaway. Looks like Murin pulling out a pretty decent lead with Chad Rawl not giving up, though. He's coming up the back of them as they come around turn number 4. Here comes Rawl on the inside, Murin on the outside. Oh, he's not backing down at all. That Harley holding off that Indian as they head into turn number 1 and 2. Here they come now. Real close together, exiting 2, entering 3, down the back straightaway. It's still Murin in the lead with Chad Rawl charging hard from behind. And here comes Chad Rawl to the inside as they head down the road. We've got some lap riders coming into play. These guys really know how to get these bikes around this track. Chad Rawl now taking it through turn number 2. And it looks like Chad Rawl's going to make it stick as they head down the back straightaway. With Murin with a lot of power, though. I think Murin might have a little more power going down the straightaways, but Rawl able to hold it on a little longer through the turn. As they come out of turn number 4, it's Chad Rawl now with the commanding lead over the California Murin. Halfway through this race, you're going to see a lot of lapped traffic in this race just because some of the bikes, some of the riders, just not able to gas it like the other guys. It looks like Chad Rawl now, the Ohioan, is going to show this Californian how to get around this track. Able to hold it on now wide open as he comes around turn number 2. Heading into 3 and 4, Chad Rawl with the commanding lead. Looks like we might have a battle shaping up for second. I'm going to try to get a number on that. And Chad Rawl with the win for the hand shift class. So, rounding out your field, Chad Rawl takes the win aboard an Indian from Mansfield, Ohio. Up next, Speedway motorcycles. These are the methanol burning 500cc machines with absolutely no brakes. These bikes are very popular in parts of Eastern Europe, Canada, California. These are a real treat. These are going to be some of the fastest bikes you see all night. Starting out the field will be Chad Rawl from Mansfield, Ohio, Jeff LaRose from Canada, Daniel White from Indiana, Chris Hathaway also from Indiana, coming from Michigan, Michael Callan and John Bussler from Ohio, Michael DeChamplain also making a trip down from Canada, will be your 7 riders in this Speedway event. Hold on to your seat, folks. It's about to begin. And here we go. Starter looks them over. They look ready to go. And they're off and running. It looks like Jeff Oros from Canada with the hole shot with the charging Chad Rawl coming up in second. These bikes are going to make their way around this track really fast down the back straightaway. Look at the roost flying off the rear tire. Jeff LaRose out in front with Chad Rawl in second. It looks like Daniel White out of Indiana in third. It's all Jeff LaRose now as he's gassing it going through turn 1 and 2 as they head down the back straightaway here. Raw looks like he's getting a bit of a charge together. LaRose just a commanding lead, a good smooth style as they slide these bikes sideways around this Wauseon National track. You see LaRose's style as he holds his foot back as he comes through the turns, where Chad Rawl has his foot down or even up on the foot peg there. There's a tiny little foot peg on the left of the bike where Chad Rawl puts his foot, but Jeff LaRose opts to leave his foot back. That allows him to get that much more traction, which could be the difference in this race. See how he holds that foot back, a little more weight over the rear wheel, giving him that bit of an edge as he tracks around this half-mile track at Wauseon. Chad Rawl still in second with LaRose. Chad Rawl closing the gap a little bit on LaRose. He tries to go to the inside a little bit, making up some ground now as they're coming around turn number 3. It looks like Chad Rawl's going to the outside. It's going to be a close one, folks, but Jeff LaRose able to hold on with Chad Rawl in second. We'll be back with more after this. Coming up right now, vintage twin motorcycle racing. Rounding out today's top 6 qualifiers are number 37 from Galion, Ohio, Ben Evans. Number 7F, Anna Norton, Dan McRoberts from Harrietta, Michigan. Clint Erickson from Sioux Falls, South Dakota will be riding number 57 aboard a Harley Davidson. Number 52, riding a Triumph, will be Chad Rawl from Mansfield, Ohio. Number 95 aboard a Triumph will be Skip Wirtz from Wheeler, Michigan. And rounding out our top 6 qualifiers will make up the front row of our final event, Stephen Glasgow from Redford, Michigan, aboard the 82X Harley Davidson. So it's rounding out to be a bit of Ohio versus Michigan in the vintage twins class here in Wauseon, Ohio. 3-row grid, the starter looks them over, they're off, and they're running at Wauseon, Ohio, the vintage twins. And out to an early lead, it looks like the number 37 machine. That's Ben Evans out of Galion, Ohio. He's aboard a Triumph. The second place rider, it looks to be Chad Rawls. He is also aboard a Triumph. So Triumph 1 and 2 here at Wauseon, Ohio. Third place rider, Stephen Glasgow from Redford, Michigan. He's aboard the 82. He's on a Harley Davidson. Dan McRoberts, though, on a Norton, appears to have just taken over third place. Oh, it's a good battle for third there between Glasgow and McRoberts. With Ben Evans out to the early lead, there's our battle for third. Chad Rawl in second. So they make their way around turn number 2, now coming down the back straightaway. Still leading the bike number 37 of Ben Evans. Chad Rawl in second. Stephen Glasgow in third. Dan McRoberts in fourth. Oh, and the hand goes up for Ben Evans of Galion, Ohio, aboard the Triumph. Apparently having a problem with that machine as he is slowing now, coming around turn number 2, and that's going to put Chad Rawls in the lead. Yes, definitely a problem with that machine as we see him slow down the back straightaway. Here comes Chad Rawls on another lap rider with Stephen Glasgow in second now, and that puts Dan McRoberts in third aboard the 7F Norton. How about this Chad Rawl, ladies and gentlemen, riding the number 52 Triumph out of Mansfield, Ohio, dominating here in the vintage twins class now that Ben Evans' bike has gone down. Chad Rawl tonight has ridden an Indian in the hand shifter class. In the foot shift class, he's ridden a Harley Davidson. The Speedway bikes, he rode a Jawa, and now in the vintage twin class, riding a Triumph. So 4 different machines dominantly here at Wauseon, Ohio. Chad Rawl takes a look over his shoulder now as he takes the win. All right, folks, well, that's going to do it for us. As we go away, check out the Haggerty Motorcycle Insurance show footage that we got at Wauseon in 2017. Thanks for watching.
Which is okay. No, they're not. Other people right there. Engine. Okay.